Well, they're in a good run of form, actually. Take a moment now to have a look at how both teams line up. Now, for Leeds, well, they're in a good run of form, actually. They're unchanged from that draw against Villa last weekend. Dominic Calvert-Lewin leading the line. Remember, they played really well, actually, and they played well since they lost to Manchester City, 14 games ago. They've only lost 2 games. Manchester City are just the one change, as we've been discussing, as there's no Haaland in the matchday squad due to injury, so Cherki starts. What do we make of the way that Manchester City line up?
Well, again, I think
against Manchester City earlier in the season, where the light bulb moment happened for Daniel Farke in landing on the setup that could keep them up. It's since then that Carl Darlow has re-established himself as first-choice goalkeeper. James Justin made his first start for Leeds in that game as left-back, but has since become part of the back three. Gabriel Goodmanson has recovered in time from the illness that forced him off at half-time in last week's draw at Villa Park, where Anton Stagg delivered another outstanding free kick. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has already scored against City this season, and he leads the line with another scorer from November, former City player Lucas Mecha, having to wait for his chance to make a difference. Manchester City without Erling Haaland. Pep Guardiola says the striker misses out on the return to the city of his birth because of a knock in training 2 days ago. Elsewhere, the team is unchanged from the one that beat Newcastle, with Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal. Ruben Diaz is back at the ground where he made his first City appearance, and midfielder Rodri has scored on each of their last 2 visits to Ellen Road. Haaland's injury opens the door for Ryan Cherki, who scored the last time he started a Premier League match. Nico O'Reilly has scored 3 in the last 2 games. Antoine Semenyo has already scored on this ground this season in Bournemouth's draw last September. Jeremy Doku is back in the squad after 4 games out with a calf injury. John Stone's absence has been even longer. In his team, Daniel Farke was a man under pressure when these sides met earlier in the season, but even though they lost that day, things have very much stabilised for Leeds since. They say that Ellen Road under the lights is intimidating for a visiting side. We're actually starting in the back end of daylight here, with Leeds looking for the kind of start that Manchester City enjoyed against them in the reverse fixture when Phil Foden scored in the first minute. Calvert-Lewin putting pressure on there. Brendan Allison trying to take it on. Claims that there might have been a hooked Aït-Nouri leg around him, but you'd expect the Leeds fans to be vocal on every challenge today.
Yeah, of course, and City should be expecting a forthright, adventurous start from Leeds.
Used to having to contain hostile atmospheres. Rodri has ridden above that on the last couple of occasions that they have visited this ground. And here's Bernardo Silva to Mark Gahey, who gives it away, but it is retrieved pretty promptly by Omar Mamouche. Leeds pressing, engaging with them. Gruev saw his opportunity there, but Bernardo Silva just about reached it. Roden comes in to win it. They know they're going to have to fight for everything this evening, and they've started aggressively, the home side.
Yeah, they certainly have. The City players will realise straight away they're not going to get much time on the ball out there.
Anton Stagg tried to nick it away from O'Reilly. He's done well to hold on to it there. He gets it back here from Nunez. It's put out by Jayden Bogle. City needing a win to close the gap to 2 points on Arsenal, who face Chelsea tomorrow. Silva to Mark Gahey. Gahey, who is on the losing side here in December with Crystal Palace, got booked in that match. Bernardo Silva looking again for the recent recruit. He finds Ryan Aït-Nouri, blocked by Jayden Bogle. Stack wins the throw-in out of Rodri. City have won the last 5 versions of this fixture. A run that began actually with a 7-0 home win. Whoever looking for it, but not getting there. Bernardo Silva looking to make things tick. And here's Bogle. Thought about the option of Calvert-Lewin, but goes wide instead to Brendan Aronson. Calvert-Lewin waiting in the middle, and he's reached him! Oh, he's missed! A glorious opening for Leeds United.
Well, I just wonder, had he scored, they might have brought it back, because there was a shove on Mark Gahey in the middle, in the centre circle there. Not a big shove, but one nonetheless. Even so, the form is in, the mood is in. He would have expected to have topped that one away. Here we are just mentioning that push, so they might well have disallowed it had it gone in.
Calvert-Lewin not to know that, and he will view that as a big chance missed.
Hey everyone, we've travelled up the M62 today to Ellen Road because we take on Leeds United in the Premier League with a kick-off time of 5:30. But whilst I'm here, in a nice, grey, drizzly Yorkshire, we've got Sean Wright-Phillips and Nader Manua who are over in Oslo today. Let's see what they're up to.
At Ellen Road, it's such a tough place to go and play. They've been brilliant. They've only lost 2 of the last 14, so City need to be at the best today to win the game, and if they do, they put a bit of pressure back on Arsenal.
It's always a tough atmosphere, isn't it, at Ellen Road? Let's take a moment now to have a look at how both teams line up. Now, for Leeds, well, they're in a good run of form, actually. They're unchanged from that draw against Villa last weekend. Dominic Calvert-Lewin leading the line. Remember, they played really well, actually, and they've played well since they lost to Manchester City, 14 games ago. They've only lost 2 games. Manchester City are just the one change, as we've been discussing, as there's no Haaland in the matchday squad due to injury, so Cherki starts. What do we make of the way that Manchester City line up?
Well, again, I think the team nearly picked itself.
Take a moment now to have a look at how both teams line up. Now, for Leeds, well, they're in a good run of form, actually. They're unchanged from that draw against Villa last weekend. Dominic Calvert-Lewin leading the line. Remember, they played really well, actually, and they've played well since they lost to Manchester City, 14 games ago. They've only lost 2 games. Manchester City are just the one change, as we've been discussing, as there's no Haaland in the matchday squad due to injury, so Cherki starts. What do we make of the way that Manchester City line up?
Well, again, I think